Yes.
Julie?
I don't know who it was, but I talked to two people, and then a third one on the phone.
Okay, and somebody on the phone too. All right. And then you came to MHMR for like medications and stuff like
Yes,
that?
and I'm also fleeing abuse
Okay, gotcha.
and wanted help to do that. I'm not able to use my device, and I wanted an advocate to help place secure me in a safe environment.
Mm-hmm.
I've been robbed of that for 7 years and left in abuse. So I'm seeking an advocate that will advocate for me and secure me a safe environment. Okay, I do. There is some that is happening to me that people have refused to report, even though it is mandatory reporting.
Okay, got you. Do you understand your rights? The ones that I just read to you? And did you have any questions about
About the mandatory reporting,
Mhm.
and you disregarded the fact that I said other people didn't follow protocol
No,
and
I'm
changed the
about to
topic.
ask about that. I just need to make sure before I ask you any more questions that you understand them, and then if you have any questions about them, I can answer them.
Okay. Yes, I understand
Okay.
about it, but I was trying to get elaboration on
Mhm.
some mandatory reporting of my abuse.
Okay. So, do you want to tell me a little bit about what happened in the past regarding that?
Yes, for 7 years in prison, I have been gang stalked, torment in multiple different places and schemes for psychological damage, trying to get services to flee abuse or other services, which in a conspiracy is a felony. Tormenting someone, harassing them, intimidation, and all kind of schemes that I've had to endure in a conspiracy is a felony charge that has yet to be addressed. So I have cars that speed up towards me. They sped up towards my friend when I was present. The police department covers for it. There's been a hit and run of my son. They cover for that. And my son started covering for it too. But my family's scared. I have this stalker that the police department has covered for over like 100 reports. Someone hit me. Someone hit my child,
Like in
my daughter.
a vehicle?
Yes, they hit me in my vehicle. They hit my son directly. They waited till he took out the trash and hit him with a car directly. But the police department covered for it and wouldn't investigate it and has since lost the report. So each location I'm at, there are conspirators and abuse and cover up.
Right.
So you're actually the fourth person I had to communicate my experience to. I'm not saying you guys are a part of the abuse, but my abuser loves for me to repeatedly have to repeat the trauma. He's sadistic, and he's able to control people for an extreme for petty.
And it's a specific person?
Yes. So he manipulates my environments, and makes them play mind games because that's what he loves. That. So I have to repeatedly in my environments go over my experience, traumatic experience, over and over and over again. This is like I said, you would be the fourth party I talked to. I asked too what the relevancy of our conversation was, and they couldn't tell me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I understand the stress and pain that it is repeating yourself.
Especially in schemes.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know that if any point you don't want to repeat anything or have to say anything because of the way that it makes you feel because of everything you've been through, you absolutely don't have to. I want this to be a safe space for you to be able to talk about what you're comfortable talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a little anxious because I'm just repeatedly not heard. I have to leave this location that I'm at, and I'm blacklisted from all services, and I have to normalize that in my life to be repeatedly. I have to normalize being terrified for my life, so I don't appear to be terrified for my life because I was forced to normalize it. So I'm being put out of this place, and then I'm blacklisted from all shelter and help on the planet for years, and nothing's repeatedly done. I can't go to police departments to flee. I tried to go to hospitals to flee, and they all put me out. So I'm blacklisted from shelters. I've even been put out of hotels and schemes. Paid my money, and then they put me out of schemes. So if I'm not safe trying to book my own hotel room and nothing's done, how would anyone feel going through that?
Yeah, so a lot of frustration with everything that's going on and not being heard too.
Right. And all these conspirators to leave me in abuse. But here's the thing: someone paid for me to get put out of this location, and he needs his collateral that I'll stay in it. So the police department does what they can to enforce no one helps me so he can get his money worth for putting me out of the shelter, robbing people to put me out in the scheme. He repeatedly gets away with it year after year. So the police give him his collateral, that they'll be his minions, and enlist all my environments to scheme and keep me from services, down to petty, even therapy. No, I don't have any thoughts of wanting to harm myself.
Okay, good. Have you ever in your life?
No, no.
Okay.
At one time, it did get pretty intense because I was blacklisted from shelter and it was winter. So I was pretty upset during that location. I mean, during that experience. Um, it escalated when I had to repeat myself to multiple different people.
Like today?
Yes, like I then they said that they were going to do an intake, and then I get my services. They told me on the phone I can do a walk-in. Then they keep on staging different events to where I'm not getting services. So I've been to HMR getting services again. I've never had to speak with four people.
Mm-hmm.
So she claimed that she was, I thought she was doing a psyche valve. I don't know what was happening. Then she called somebody else to have me tell my story to. Then somebody else came in, and both of them had to walk me over here, and then one stood over me. So I don't know what's happening. And I asked her, I told her people I'm gang stalked in multiple different environments, and I don't know why she was standing over me because they're lookouts to enforce crimes. So I asked her, I have evidence of what I'm saying. So I asked her if she could not stand over me, and she said she'd leave if it made her uncomfortable. So that was a little disappointing that there was, I think that there was a scam to keep me from getting my medication and services. That's what I believe is happening. So here, what is a typical time frame to get medication at this on this side?
So we're not going to be the side that deals with the medication. So kind of what we do in this building, we're considered the crisis building. So usually,
So they lied to me.
What did they tell you?
They said that I could get my medication quicker coming here.
So there's a few routes that we could go potentially to would allow you to get your medication quicker. It just kind of depends on like how do I just kind of depends on like where we go. So we have something called a crisis residential unit, and if you if you're approved or you want to go to this crisis residential unit, then you'd be able to be seen by a psychiatrist. I want to say within 24 hours. Um, but that's a 2 week long program. It's not in this building. It's in Crummer.
Yeah, this is kind of how my life has been. I've been railroaded and controlled. So what's been going on is they're wanting to frame me for mental illness. So they force me to have to deal with MHMR, and then force me repeated hospitalizations and corruption. So then they have a paper trail of mental illness in a conspiracy.
Yeah.
So I repeatedly have lied to. So I guess I just need to get some melatonin for these cons. Are you going to help me flee abuse?
So specifically in my role, I can't do that. I can help advocate for you and connect you to resources that will. Are you staying in a safe space right
I
now?
can't. I'm not able to get services on my own. I would need an advocate to secure me a location to stay.
Okay, like a long-term place to stay?
Yes, like I need to flee from abuse, but all parties that I come in contact with conspire with it. The
Okay.
police don't leave it up to chance. They enforce I never see services to flee abuse they're enlisted in
Okay.
in all my environments.
Have you spoken to friends of the family in Benton?
Yes, they put me out for my abuser.
Okay, so you've kind of encountered the experience with them.
Yes.
Okay, let me write down a note. So I can kind of look into other like longer, short, long-term places.
So I'm not going to be able to get the medication, period. So what do I do when they're
So
scamming to keep me from medication?
you mean the people from
Yes.
over there?
Yes.
So with what I'm doing, I won't be able to help you get the medication any quicker.
I don't know what to do because they don't have their life straight. I don't.
Yeah.
Can we call a supervisor and then get some answers?
Yeah,
Because I don't know at MHMR trying to get medication is a red flag.
No, not
They've
at all.
already done this in the past.
Yeah, I understand your
This
frustration.
is not the first time they scheme. They scheme to keep me from medical treatment and mental health treatment.
Yeah.
going through a crisis.
Yeah, I understand. I feel your frustration, and I just want you to know that
I
am
just
here
I want
to.
answers.
Yeah, you want answers, and
Yes.
you want help. Yeah,
Right.
I understand. Would it help if
And they had me walk over here, and now you can't help with it.
Yeah, with the medication specifically?
The medication, and then I want the help with the abuse that the police department is controlling my environments and making sure I never see.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what kind of scheme you're going to have. I don't want numbers; those are useless to me. My phone's hacked.
Yeah, you want action.
Right. I
Yeah.
want to secure a location with the advocate or case manager.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I've been robbed of that 7+ years.
7 years, right? Would it be helpful for you to get my supervisor, and then we can talk to her about it, and you can get
Well, that would be my
definitive
5th time
answers?
repeating myself. So can you ask your supervisor and get definitive answers? How long have you worked here?
I've been here about 6 months now.
And it's just the oblivion of unknown to find out when I can get medication.
So we don't deal with that on this side. We're just specifically for the
So
crisis
I'm not being
situation.
heard. I asked if it was oblivion of unknown,
Yeah.
trying to get medication. It is.
No, it's just different departments, unfortunately.
Can we get? No one knows how to get the answers.
Yeah, I'll go talk to my supervisor.
Okay.
And I'll get specific information for you. Okay.
Okay. And I have no clue what happened for the 3 other times, what I was doing.
Over at the other building.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was happening.
I will also talk to them and see like what their logic was and kind of the services that you're asking for and what they were giving you and where the disconnect is.
And then even if they are 2 months, they gave me no avenue to get it sooner. Maybe I need to just go back to. I'm just going to go back to Tarrant County, and maybe hopefully they won't be playing games there.
Okay, let me go talk.
But we'll see what con they have here. Okay.
Let me go talk. I'll be right back. Did you want more food or anything while you're waiting, or
Yes, because she made me put my bag in the closet. Okay. I like some more Slim Jims.
Okay, how many? We have a lot. Give you as many as you want.
Okay. 2 is fine.
2? Okay.
Thank you.
More what or 2?
No.
Okay.
All right. How may I help you?
Yes, I'm trying to get medication, a refill on medication.
Okay. Let me see. Can I get your name?
I was going to the one off Lancaster. They would never call me back for my appointment. Do you see an appointment?
Let me see, because the clinic on Lancaster actually moved.
Yes, I know, but that was the one that I was at.
I don't see anything, but let me get you over to your clinic, and they'll have information. Is it okay if I place you on a brief hold?
I'm sorry, you don't have that information?
I was saying, is it okay if I get you over to your
I was
clinic?
asking you to repeat yourself, ma'am. You don't want to repeat yourself?
Yeah. Oh, no. I was just saying, is it okay if I could get you over to
You
your
said
clinic?
you don't have information, ma'am? You said you don't have information? Is that what you said?
No, ma'am. I said, is it okay if I can place you on
Okay,
hold
go
while
ahead,
I get
ma'am.
you connected to your clinic?
Okay, go ahead. This is how long I've been on hold. Game's over with. Yes. Excuse me.
Okay. Is it a refill on your Seroquel?
Yes.
Okay. What I can do is put in a refill request for you, letting the doctor know. They do also want you to have a follow-up appointment. Do you know your case manager?
I don't know what's happening. You have to do a referral for me to get a refill?
Okay.
How long that they didn't put?
No, ma'am.
I think it's a refill on the bottle, isn't it?
Yes.
So why? What is the referral for? I'm sorry.
So this referral, with the case manager, there is an assessment that you need to be done.
Oh, to get a refill? To get a refill?
Not for refill.
Isn't that a refill on the bottle?
Not for refill.
Ma'am, is there a refill on the bottle?
You have no refills on the system, it said. So we need to let the doctor know that you're requesting one.
So she gave me only a 1 month supply of medication with no refills?
what it said here in the system. It ended in June 4.
They took my bag, so I don't have my bag to see on it. Is that normal?
Mm. I'm not sure. You have to speak with the doctor about it.
So you have to give me a referral for the doctor.
I have to leave a med call for them, yes.
Okay, so what's the process?
So I'm putting in this med call. The process can take 2 to 3 business days, letting them know that you're requesting refills. On the other hand, they would also need you to have a follow-up appointment, and you need an assessment done first.
How many assessments do I have to have? I have to have an assessment every month.
This one is every 3 months. It's called PCRP.
Hold on 1 second. Because I keep repeatedly having these assessments all the time, making me repeat myself over and over. I'm trying to see the last time. Hold on. When was my last appointment? They didn't call me or anything regarding the appointment I had.
Your last appointment is March 25th. You had one on May 6th. I'm not sure if you went to that appointment or not.
Okay, they didn't call me and let me know about the appointment or anything. 1
They
moment.
usually have an automated text.
I never got it. So May 6th, I had an appointment.
Yes.
And then they never set an appointment after that. They didn't try to call me and set an appointment like they normally do.
They didn't because he needs that assessment done, completed, the PCRP.
I think people are playing games. I've already done an assessment. Why would I repeatedly have to do assessments over and over in all my environments, even on the phone?
So
I think you guys are scheming to
assessment,
keep me from my medication as well as services, like all other locations. So how would I get the medication? What's the passcode to get medication and services?
You can address that issue. You can address that issue in the clinic. I'll go ahead and let them know that you're requesting refills. If you don't want to do your assessment,
She said she was going to transfer me over to the clinic.
We're not transferring you to the clinic.
Well, the person I just talked to said she was going to get the clinic on the phone and said she's something, and then I didn't understand what she was saying, and she wouldn't repeat herself.
I am the clinic. I'm the one that does all the med calls and appointments.
I'm not quite sure the process of getting the medication, the new process. No one has called me. I have supposed to have a case manager and repeatedly get ignored.
Like I said, you can come to the clinic and address the issue so that they are aware. You can speak with the program manager.
I would like some confirmation when I would get my medicine after doing all of this. I would like the confirmation on the process so that there's no schemes.
So I just told you the medical process to.
Okay, I thought the other lady told me she was going to transfer me to the clinic. How did I get you?
I am the clinic.
Okay, so you are the clinic. And you don't know the process for me to get my medication? If I do a walk-in, if I do a walk-in, can I get my medication?
They won't be able to refill it today because there is a process that we need to follow.
What's the process? Can I have my bag? I want to see if it's a refill on this bottle. I'm sorry? The process is that you're getting paid and when I'm user's mad, I can't get services anywhere? Is that the process?
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect.
I don't want you to disconnect, ma'am. Are you denying me services? She hung up. It is 0 refills on the bottle.
What's the address of your emergency?
What's the address here, ma'am? Yes, I don't have the address. I'm at a MHMR location. And I'm railroaded and blacklisted from services everywhere. And I want to report the abuse that I repeatedly have to ignore. I have to leave at a location in a couple of days, and the government has blacklisted me from housing, which is criminal, and scheme with multiple different conspirators to keep me from services everywhere I go, and I'm repeatedly not heard. So I don't want to keep running around, catching the bus, place to place to place, and crime from location to location to location, year after year unheard. So I want to report the conspiracy to violate rights crimes, which is a felony charge that I repeatedly have to endure and can't get services anywhere. What's the address here, ma'am?
Okay.
It's 2509
Okay. And you said they're refusing services?
What's going on is I have to be out of the location at a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
and I repeatedly get denied housing and shelter, and as well as other services in a pattern. And doing that in conspiracy is a felony. So the games are just so extreme and petty that I would like to report it without being bullied and violated because it is
Okay.
criminal.
Okay. And what's the address there?
It's 2509 Scripture.
Okay. Are you a patient there?
I'm trying to be, but they're playing games to keep me from my medicine. And I thought that was extreme, so I would need to report, these games to keep me from services, even medication and medical treatment.
Okay. Okay. What is your name?
It's Kiana Clark.
And your phone number? In person.
I don't know. The police normally bully me, but I don't understand what we're going to accomplish if he comes calls me.
Well, you're calling for help, so they either have to call you or come in person.
Okay, I guess come in person.
Okay. Okay. All right. I've got that call in, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Hey, Kiana, have you been with Denton County MHMR in the past?
No,
No? Okay.
they denied assistance. They said that they were full.
Okay. All right, I'll just have a couple more questions for you real quick. Any medical issues?
I need knee replacements.
Knee replacements?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you have any allergies to any medication?
The trazodone.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not good having an allergy to that medication. Let's see here. And this may seem like a silly question, but any changes in the past couple of weeks as far as your care for yourself? Any change in like your eating habits or showering, anything like that?
Well, whenever I do spend more time with myself, I get escalated abuse, which is evidence that someone that's not mentally stable is running a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Who would enforce that a woman that you're not even with not look presentable to be safe?
Right.
And then be allowed to control an army full of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's mentally insane to force someone to not care about themselves,
True.
to be safe.
Yeah. Okay.
So whenever I do invest time in myself, put on makeup, I get denied services, escalated abuse put out, lied on, slander, pathological lies all over the place, and nothing has been repeatedly done. So it's not safe for me to spend time with myself like other women perhaps can.
So you almost feel trapped.
I read something and it says the experience makes a person feel kidnapped,
Mm-hmm.
and it hit the nail on the head because that's kind of how I feel, even though I'm somewhat free.
Right.
But my life is hijacked, and there's nothing I've been able to do about it.
Yeah, it's pretty typical of the gang stalking experience for sure. Okay. Any weight loss that you noticed?
No.
No. Okay.
You're like the fifth person that I gave my situation to, but I hope that you're able to do something.
I will do my damnedest.
Okay. Sixth, if you include the phone call I just had.
The whole reason why they brought you over here and so on and so forth. And then we'll see what we can do to get you some medication and all that good stuff. Okay, even if we have to. Now I know that typically with intake, when they set eval appointments for medications, it's a month and more out. Just the nature of their routine. Sometimes in crisis we can do emergency evals, but typically we'd have to go through an additional assessment in order to get that process going. It's called a risk of harm assessment. I don't know if that would be necessary in your situation because there's no risk report, no SI, HI, anything like that.
Well, the thing of it is I'm in a domestic violence crisis and I'm repeatedly unheard and left in it.
Right.
So and then denied therapy. Yeah, I'm in a crisis and I'm denied therapy. So any kind of relief possible that I can get to flee this abuse, even from medicine, I'm robbed of it.
Right.
And they've already withheld medication from me in the past.
Okay. Okay.
In schemes. So even medical treatment.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know if people have forced me to frame myself to get services. So I don't know what you're asking.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what avenues of approach I can take to try to get you the help you need.
Okay.
So let me make a couple phone calls and see what I can do, how we can navigate this, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
What was your name?
My name is Jonathan.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
My phone's glitching and won't let me add the description. See, it's grayed out. You haven't saved your changes, but it won't let me save the descriptions. They don't want me giving you an update because the police are supposed to be coming, and then they always set me up. This is how it's been. And then interrupt me at my providers trying to report the crimes. That's right there shows that I have changes. You haven't saved it, but I can.
Okay. So did some digging, did some phone calls, and so I feel like if we did our risk of harm screening, because like you said, you are in a crisis. If we did the risk of harm screening, it would get us to where we can get you into counseling, we can get you some medication, we can get you connected to our connections program for housing. Now the housing aspect won't be immediate, it'll be a process, but we can get you at least started in that, and then we'd probably have to get you over to one of the shelters like Our Daily Bread or Salvation Army for a few days. If that's something you want to do, at least it would put you somewhere that would be a bed.
Yeah, I was curious on why all locations don't hear me saying that I'm fleeing for my life and want me to be in homeless shelters. I'm just trying to show a conspiracy, and these are felony charges for someone to repeatedly control my environment and malice.
Right.
But I don't know. So, what is a risk assessment? Am I saying that I'm mentally ill, or does that show? I thought we already went over this. And
so what we just did was what's called a triage. It's just a basic thing. You can use all the answers that we already went through, everything you've already told intake to pretty much fill it out. There would just be a couple things I would need more details on, and then we'd be done.
Okay.
And with that, all that does is means that you came in because you were having a crisis. So we did a crisis assessment. That's all it is.
Does it show? Does it protect my abuser like it's been protecting them? Does it show that I'm fleeing abuse? And what happened to all the mandatory reporting that was ignored?
Well, the mandatory reporting, if there's abuse going on, I will report it.
Okay. Because everyone else has covered for it.
Well, that's for them, the Lord, to deal with on that. That should not have happened.
Okay.
We're state mandated reporters. If there's any abuse reported, we have to do it. We have to report it.
Okay.
Whether APS or it does anything with it, that's on them. But
they don't. They cover for it. They've done it for years.
Well, we at least have to do our due diligence, so I will do that.
Okay.
And let's see. Oh, come on.
So when do I get the medication after all of this insanity?
Well, after all this insanity, I'll have to see what is available. But we use what's called emergency eval, so it wouldn't be like the couple of months like you would have with intake. It would be probably something in the next couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. Okay.
And then
Policies change when I'm present. They used to give people the medication the same day.
well,
But
I've
when
been
my
here,
abuser controlling the environment's all, there's always new policies.
true. I've been here for 3 years and I've never been able to get someone medications.
Maybe this location, but I just got hung up on calling Tarrant County. They didn't want to give me medication either.
Tarrant County may operate.
They hung up in my face to not give me medication, so that's why I decided if someone is controlling this extreme for petty, that's scary.
It is scary. It's very scary. But I'm gonna do everything I can to get something within that 2 week time frame. Let me go ahead and pull up here what we need. Now we have a couple of different options we can do. One thing that could keep you safe if you're open to it would be voluntary inpatient. They would be able to get you medication as soon as you get in there.
Yeah, I get framed. People have forced me into framing myself to get services. So I was blacklisted from all services, so they had made me use MHMR to get services.
Okay.
And then they manipulate and control me, and then force me to get services that other people get to hospitalize myself. I've done it. I've done it. So, because I was deprived of all shelter and schemes, I had no other choice but to hospitalize myself.
Right.
So then they get a paper trail of mental illness, knowing no one would believe that it was so many conspirators in this level of insanity.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And the way we operate, we're least restrictive. So, I mean, if something's going to make it worse off for you or make you put in a situation where you don't feel safe, we don't want to do that. Okay?
Well, I'm not being heard. You were sending me to homeless shelters. That's a red flag that this environment's being controlled and manipulated.
Well, we're limited in our options as far as
everyone has been limited in their options for 7 years. That's what I'm trying to address. I think people need to go to prison. This is a felony charge to do this location to location, and repeatedly I'm not heard. So everywhere I go, I had to live in a tent. Under the radar, everywhere I go was scheming. Sometimes they take my freedom. Everyone had a pathological lies all over the place, deny me everything you could deny, sometimes even food and water. So I don't know. I'm not able to get services, and people have yet to get these felony charges. I've been hoping and praying they get soon.
Yeah. Well, we'll do what we can.
So to flee abuse, you've completely disregarded that, and your suggestion is for me to hospitalize myself.
Oh no, I'm not disregarding your fleeing abuse, but as far as like, have you ever worked with friends of the family or anything like that?
They put me out for my abuser.
They put you out, okay.
Now there's no social workers period on the planet. Period. That secure you a safe place. It can't be done.
We have case managers here within our agency.
But it can't be done to get placed in a safe environment for domestic violence.
Immediately, no.
Period. For 7 years.
Well, I don't know.
It just can't be done.
Years. I mean, I can't say anything about the past 7 years, but I can say going forward, it wouldn't be immediate, but it would take
that doesn't make sense. If someone's fleeing abuse, why would an army full of people leave them in it and can't immediately help them? The 6 people I talked to today.
Again, I can't speak on their behalf, but I know with us, with the connections program we have, it's not. There's no way.
There's no referrals to anyone on the planet. It don't exist anymore.
As far as housing, that would be able to take
a safe environment.
The safest environment that we have is the homeless shelters, and then there's.
So no, there's no domestic violence organizations on the planet. Period.
Outside of friends of the family, I'm not sure of any of them.
And there's no social worker period on this planet that will try to secure me a safe environment. It can't be done.
Well,
like it hasn't been done 7 years.
Social workers might if they took the case, but again, like you said, in the past they haven't taken the case. Beyond that, our case managers, we can try to work with our ends to try to help you out with that.
I just think people need to go to jail, and I just want people to know what I've been through.
Right. That's right.
Repeatedly, location to location, scam to keep me from getting help, unaddressed year after year. So you guys are refusing to help here and give me case management.
We're not refusing to help you or get you case management. We just have a process we have to go through.
What is the process?
Well, the process first would be to finish the screening that we talked about, and then to get you a case manager, counseling, and try to get you employment for medication, and then going from there as far as.
So you said that you were going to do something else. So you got to try to get me an employment. It can't be done. You got to try. I don't know. My abuser's controlling it. So whatever you got to do.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
He just makes it impossible. No one would ever believe my story. There's no way it's going to happen until somebody other than me realizes that this is sick.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything that you're going through, like what you're talking about, is sick, and
Well, it still haven't stopped this location from conspiring with it.
well, I'm not conspiring with anyone.
Well, if you were putting me off, telling you I'm fleeing for my life and I can't see a case manager, and you referred me to homeless shelters, and I repeatedly kept telling you I was fleeing for my life, that is putting me off.
I see.
And there are people that can inability to find integrity anywhere on the planet is scary to me.
It is.
They diagnosed me with schizophrenia and corruption to cover for crimes that were committed. And I haven't been able to sue because I can't get legal representation for malpractice,
Right.
for being slandered for profit.
So you
Right.
cover, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And they've also denied all housing for years and blatantly lied about it. And case management. I was trapped into going to, my sister blatantly lied on me, and then I went to Hickory Trails.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was trapped in because I was blacklisted from all shelter and was repeatedly not heard. And it was not safe for me to stay out on the street. So I went to Dallas Behavior.
Okay.
When I went there, they were locked and closed up. And it was, I had no other place to go. It was late at night and it wasn't safe. So they locked up in corruption. So I called 911. Then the police came and then they let me in. So then I got threatened 3 times when I was in the hospital. A lady that terrorized me at Oxford Street threw her drink on me. Staff covered for it, and there was psychological abuse there by multiple parties, including staff. So then after that, my sister was railroaded in the scheme and wanted me to go to Terrell State Hospital for cover up. And by that time, I was exhausted. I was tired of going place to place to place to get denied services. So I was willing to go to the hospital to get shelter.
Yeah.
I was desperate because nothing has been repeatedly done about these schemes to keep me from shelter.
Right, it's just been a vicious cycle.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So to keep myself safe, since I'm deprived of law enforcement, I admitted myself in hospitals, and then they even started putting me out of them and denying mental health treatment.
Okay. I'm very sorry that that's been your experience. I really am.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's the same questions over and over.
I know.
Okay.
But this last few.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get this emergency eval scheduled for you for medications, and then I'll set you up with case management, and then we will set up some phone calls throughout the evening if you want to make sure that you're doing okay, and then we'll go from there. Does that sound okay?
I'm not understanding what you're saying. I reported that I'm in a domestic violence crisis that involves the government, and you said there was mandatory reporting. We didn't really get a resolution on that. I feel like I'm being blown off. I don't understand what the process is, how a woman can say be in a crisis, and this is a crisis location, and still be ignored like I was at the police department.
I'm not ignoring them.
But I don't hear anything that's going to do anything to save my life today.
Well, the mandatory reporting is going to be done regardless because you didn't report abuse. Okay, so that's a part of it regardless. But what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to talk to our connections manager who handles the housing aspect.
Okay, hold on. Let me understand.
Yeah.
So I talked to a lady. Okay, first I went in there and the lady took my blood pressure multiple times, and I've had to endure petty things like that.
Right.
So she pretended like she didn't know what she was doing and had to take it multiple times. So then I spoke to this. I went off in there and spoke to a lady. I thought I was doing the intake. She said she was doing some kind of assessment that she needed me to speak with someone else. So I spoke with someone else on the phone. That the conversation didn't make sense and she didn't know her position. Then a third party came in that I had to repeat my story to. Then they sent me here saying that this is the place you get services. We had to walk over here. I didn't understand what was happening. Then I talked to a person, if I'm not mistaken, 2 people here, and then you. So she got a supervisor, and now you have a supervisor?
Well, we all have supervisors, yeah.
I'm just not understanding why it's so many parties that I've had to repeatedly go through. I'm just trying to establish a pattern of mind games.
Right.
Like yesterday, I had to go to 3 different appointments. Blown out. I've experienced that years. Mind games, petty mind games.
Yeah.
So they're really trying to go low key in psychological abuse
Right.
and
I see what you're saying.
sadistic behavior.
I see what you're saying. But I'm the last stop. I'm going to speak with my manager. You want to repeat your story to anybody else? Okay.
But I thought you were already doing that. You said you were going to make some phone calls.
I
And
did. I made some phone calls to see what steps we need to take going forward.
Well,
as
then
far
what
as
happened? Why do
assessment.
you need to speak with your manager if you already went
Well,
was
I still
doing
need to
taking?
speak with the housing manager to make sure we have.
But you already left to do that.
No, I called it someone else. I called my manager to speak with how we need forward.
I don't understand the relevancy of you leaving, me telling you I was in a domestic violence crisis and asking for my medication, and you didn't do all things that needed to be done.
Right.
So then you only handle one part, and now you got to do another part.
That's our process.
I think the feds need to figure out what's going on. I don't. That doesn't sound rational.
Okay.
Why would you put someone fleeing abuse through this if it's not deliberate?
Well, it's not deliberate.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't make phone calls for everything and then make phone calls for partial and then forcing me to wait again like I had to endure all these years, petty mind games. But okay, sir, I don't have rights. Go ahead, whatever you got to do.
You do have rights.
No, I don't. I do not.
Okay. I'll be back shortly.
If it's been impossible for me to flee abuse 7 years, I don't have rights.
Fair enough.
More glitches working on my channel. That they're deliberately trying to silence me even on my channel.
Of your emergency?
I had it. Just 1 second. Let me get it. I was waiting to know the status of my call to the police department to do a report.
Hang on just 1 second.
Okay.
We've just been very busy. As soon as I
You've
can.
been busy for 7 years, ma'am. And then when the police come, they're crooked. I reported my friend the car sped up like it was going to hit her 3 or 4 times, and they never came. It was trying to deprive a citizen of law enforcement, and corruption is criminal. You just can't abuse badges and guns and then not allow someone law enforcement because it incriminates you. But people have yet to understand that in my environment.
Okay, well, I do have that call in for an officer to come talk to you, okay?
Okay, it's already been an hour. Would it be could one call while we're waiting on the ETA? While we're waiting on the other one?
Well, right now I don't have any officers available for teleserve, but as soon as I can, I'll send an officer.
My luck has been very abnormal for a very long time, ma'am.
I've got a bunch of calls holding. As soon as we can.
But I'm in an emergency, and you're not attending to the one you have on the line?
I'm sorry?
You're not attending to the one you have right now currently on the line?
Well, ma'am, there's multiple calls holding already.
Yeah, I get that across the board. Everyone else is more important than me. Okay, ma'am, I'm just sitting here waiting alone, and they came up with all kind of schemes this morning to keep me from services to flee abuse. So I just needed to report that I repeatedly experience this everywhere I'm at. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, as soon as I can, I'll send an officer.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, sorry it took me so long.
Okay.
Um,
Has that been like 20 minutes?
I don't know, probably.
Okay.
Put it that way.
The second time?
Yeah. Okay. So the options we have,
The options I have controlled. Okay.
well, would you like help, Kiana? Because I want to get you help.
I just want legitimate help and not people that are controlled and sabotaging assistance.
Okay.
I
well,
want
you
genuine
control.
people that have a sincere interest in helping me and not controlled.
Right.
But what are your options that you have?
Okay. So our options are what we talked about before, where you finish up with intake and you do case management, you get your medication, and we get you connected to our housing programs. Now, the housing programs, like I said, are not going to be immediate.
They're not going to happen until people get their charges. But anyway, so what I thought we already were going in the process. What else needs to be done?
You have to finish what's called a TRR. It's a multi-question thing. But you've already answered all the questions necessarily. We just have to go over it one more time. And you would do that with Deja, who you were working with over at the other office. She would finish that up for you, get you into what's called a level of care, which would get you assigned to a case manager, and we get you an eval with a doctor set up like I talked about. And then we get you in touch with a connection with the housing programs that we have. We have 2 of them.
Okay, so they played games and had me walk over here in Malice. Now they're wanting me to walk back over there to where I originally started in Malice. I'm going to wait on the police. If they ever show, I think need to report you people repeatedly being controlled and playing mind games.
I'm not controlled, man.
They told me to walk over here in the con, and you kept on leaving, and what you're saying doesn't make sense. I repeatedly keep asking you, how do I get service? Because I haven't found the magic passcode. Now you're sending me back to the location I started from.
That's how you're going to get services.
Well, why did they have me walk over here?
I'm not sure. I think they were concerned about the risk and the report of abuse. And they didn't know what to do with it.
I think that you guys are playing games and you're being controlled. Like the other day, they had me wait at 9, then told me 11:30, and then 2, and then denied services. So then you're sending me back over there, and they're saying they're playing games, saying it was 2 months. And then when I called Tarrant County, they hung up in my face in a scheme to keep me from getting medicine there and help and assistance. So what was all this? You had to speak with your supervisor. You were going to do this.
I spoke with the connections manager for our housing department that we have, and he told me the breakdown of how the process goes. It's a multi-stage process. It's not immediate.
To get services?
No, to get housing.
Okay.
Services is just
okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. I saw online that if you're a client with MHMR, you can get 24-hour emergency shelter.
Right. That's at Our Daily Bread or Salvation Army. We don't.
Did you do that?
We can get you there. Yeah, we talked about that.
No, you just said it wouldn't be immediate. You guys aren't. Your stories aren't adding up.
Yeah, you're not listening. So
I'm being gaslit, sir. You said that it would not be immediate.
No, the housing program that we have, connections or supported housing, that's a multi-stage process to get you into an apartment or into a group home. But we have emergency shelters. There are Daily Bread and Salvation Army. We don't own them, but they're a partner with us, and they're here in Denton. We have Salvation Army get you 5 days in a bed. Our Daily Bread is on Loop 288.
I would have to have those stories straight. 5 days. So you can only stay at Salvation Army 5 days?
5 days at a time, yeah.
Oh, these new procedures.
That's, like I said, this is what I've known for as long as I've been here. So we can get you to Salvation Army for 5 days, and in the meantime, I can get you back over there half an hour to be set up with.
Back to Salvation Army?
No, well, I'll get you over to our other office where you were at before. We'll finish up the TRR, take about a half hour at most. We'll get you a case manager, get an appointment set for you to get your medication.
So what was all these, 5 people that I spoke with today? What was the relevancy of these conversations?
I have no idea why you spoke with 5 people, and I do apologize.
I think I know why I spoke with 5 people.
Well, you might. I don't. I can't speak for why they had you talk to so many people.
And then the needless walking again, to walk back over there?
I can drive you over there.
Okay, that would be, at least that's a bonus.
Okay, perfect.
They're going to connect me with shelter at the homeless, so flee and abuse. You're refusing to give me any assistance to flee the abuse. You're enforcing that I go to a homeless shelter.
I'm not enforcing anything.
Well, that's the only thing that was presented. Those were the choices that I was given. And I just don't understand this repeated pattern.
Okay, so the choices are the homeless shelter, where we finish up the process of getting you into services and get you an appointment set to get you medication.
That's going to be 2 months.
The medication, no, I can use what's called an emergency eval that we have on our side to get you something sooner than that. However, after that, as far as housing goes, it's going to be the shelter. So 5 days at Salvation Army. Okay. From there, it's just going to be, you can go back to Salvation Army, you can go to ODB, or the other bread, or the other shelter.
I'm just not understanding why all conspirators and pretend like they're not conspirators, but want me to be in a homeless shelter with this level of abuse.
That's our options, ma'am. I mean, you were.
Well, at least you didn't give me the option to leave now, or the police will make you leave, and then getting arrested. I'm just trying to expose that this felony crime of conspiracy to violate rights is what's going on,
right. And
it does carry charges.
Right.
To treat someone like this repeatedly over and over, to scheme to make sure they can't flee abuse, is criminal.
No, I agree.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and get the ride over there and walk back to where I first started in these cons and petty games. For environments that claim my abusers not controlling them. The police would never come. They're setting it up. Now my bag.
Yeah, you get the keto.
Said something about you're gonna get the emergency psych eval going on. I don't. So the lady that I first talked with is gonna do the emergency psych eval.
Yeah, she's gonna finish up your intake, which is TRR assessment.